Deuteronomy 14:22. 401. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year. Deuteronomy 14:23. 402. And thou shalt eat before thy God, in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear thy God always. Deuteronomy 14:24. 403. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which thy God shall choose to set his name there, when thy God hath blessed thee. Deuteronomy 14:25. 404. Then shalt thou turn it into money, and bind up the money in thine hand, and shalt go unto the place which thy God shall choose. Deuteronomy 14:26. 405. And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desireth, and thou shalt eat there before thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, thou, and thine household. Deuteronomy 14:27. 406. And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee. Deuteronomy 14:28. 407. At the end of 3 years thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and shalt lay it up within thy gates. Deuteronomy 14:29. 408. And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come, and shall eat and be satisfied, that thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand which thou dost. Deuteronomy 15:1. 409. At the end of every 7 years thou shalt make a release. Deuteronomy 15:2. 410. And this is the matter of the release: every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it, he shall not exact it of his neighbor, or of his brother, because it is called his release. Deuteronomy 15:3. 411. Of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again, but that which is thine with thy brother thine hand shall release. Deuteronomy 15:4. 412. Save when there shall be no poor among you, for he shall greatly bless thee in the land which thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it. Deuteronomy 15:7. 413. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land which thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother. Deuteronomy 15:8. 414. But thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need, in that which he wanteth. Deuteronomy 15:9. 415. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, The 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not, and he cry unto it against thee, and it be sin unto thee. Deuteronomy 15:10. 416. Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand unto. Deuteronomy 15:12. 417. And if thy brother, an Hebrew man, or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. Deuteronomy 15:13. 418. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Deuteronomy 15:14. 419. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock, and out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress, of that wherewith thy God hath blessed thee thou shalt give unto him. Deuteronomy 15:15. 420. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt, and thy God redeemed thee, therefore I command thee this thing today. Deuteronomy 15:19. 421. All the firstling males that come of thy herd and of thy flock thou shalt sanctify unto thy God, thou shalt do no work with the firstling of thy bullock, nor shear the firstling of thy sheep. Deuteronomy 15:20. 422. Thou shalt eat it before thy God year by year in the place which he shall choose, thou and thy household. Deuteronomy 16:1. 423. Observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto thy God, for in the month of Abib thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Deuteronomy 16:3. 424. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it, 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction, for thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. Deuteronomy 16:8. 425. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to thy God, thou shalt do no work therein. Shalt do no work therein. Deuteronomy 16:9. 426. 7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee, begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. Deuteronomy 16:10. 427. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto thy God with a tribute or a freewill offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto thy God, according as thy God hath blessed thee. Deuteronomy 16:13. 428. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days, after that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. Deuteronomy 16:14. 429. And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou, and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite, the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, that are within thy gates. Deuteronomy 16:16. 430. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before thy God in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before empty. Deuteronomy 16:18. 431. Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which thy God giveth thee, throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. Deuteronomy 16:19. 432. Thou shalt not wrest judgment, thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift, for a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise, and pervert the words of the righteous. Deuteronomy 16:20. 433. That which is altogether just shalt thou follow, that thou mayest live, and inherit the land which thy God giveth thee. Deuteronomy 16:21. 434. Thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any trees near unto the altar of thy God, which thou shalt make thee. Deuteronomy 16:22. 435. Neither shalt thou set thee up any image, which thy God hateth. Deuteronomy 17:1. 436. Thou shalt not sacrifice unto thy God any bullock, or sheep, wherein is blemish, or any vilf of redness, for that is an abomination unto thy God. Deuteronomy 17:6. 437. At the mouth of 2 witnesses, or 3 witnesses, shall he that is worthy of death be put to death, but at the mouth of 1 witness he shall not be put to death. Deuteronomy 17:8. 438. If there arise a matter too hard for thee in judgment, between blood and blood, between plea and plea, and between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within thy gates, then shalt thou arise, and get thee up into the place which thy God shall choose. Deuteronomy 17:9. 439. And thou shalt come unto the priests the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire, and they shall shew thee the sentence of judgment. Deuteronomy 17:10. 440. And thou shalt do according to the sentence, which they of that place which they shall choose shall shew thee, and thou shalt observe to do according to all that they inform thee. Deuteronomy 17:11. 441. According to the sentence of the law which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgment which they shall tell thee, thou shalt do, thou shalt not decline from the sentence which they shall shew thee, to the right hand, nor to the left. Deuteronomy 17:14. 442. When thou art come unto the land which thy God giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Deuteronomy 17:15. 443. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom thy God shall choose, one from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee, thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. Deuteronomy 17:16. 444. But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses, for as much as he hath said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Deuteronomy 17:17. 445. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away, neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. Deuteronomy 17:18. 446. And it shall be, when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priests the Levites. Deuteronomy 17:19. 447. And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear his God, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes, to do them. Deuteronomy 17:20. 448. That his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandment, to the right hand, or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he, and his children, in the midst of Israel. Deuteronomy 18:1. 449. The priests the Levites, and all the tribe of Levi, shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel, they shall eat the offerings of him made by fire, and his inheritance. And his inheritance. Deuteronomy 18:2. 450. Therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren, is their inheritance, as he hath said unto them. Deuteronomy 18:3. 451. And this shall be the priest's due from the people, from them that offer a sacrifice, whether it be ox or sheep, and they shall give unto the priest the shoulder, and the 2 cheeks, and the maw. Deuteronomy 18, 4. 452. The first fruit also of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the first of the fleece of thy sheep, shalt thou give him. Deuteronomy 18, 5. 453. For thy God hath chosen him out of all thy tribes, to stand to minister in the name of him and his sons forever. Deuteronomy 18, 6. 454. And if a Levite come from any of thy gates out of all Israel, where he sojourned, and come with all the desire of his mind unto the place which he shall choose. Deuteronomy 18, 7. 455. Then he shall minister in the name of his God, as all his brethren the Levites do, which stand there before Deuteronomy 18, 10. 456. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. Deuteronomy 18, 11. 457. Or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. Deuteronomy 18, 12. 458. For all that do these things are an abomination unto it, and because of these abominations thy God doth drive them out from before thee. Deuteronomy 18, 13. 459. Thou shalt be perfect with thy God. Deuteronomy 18, 15. 460. Thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me, unto him ye shall hearken. Deuteronomy 19, 2. 461. Thou shalt separate 3 cities for thee in the midst of thy land, which thy God giveth thee to possess it. Deuteronomy 19, 3. 462. Thou shalt prepare thee a way, and divide the coasts of thy land, which thy God giveth thee to inherit, into 3 parts, that every slayer may flee thither. Deuteronomy 19:10. 463. That innocent blood be not shed in thy land, which thy God giveth thee for an inheritance, and so blood be upon thee. Deuteronomy 19:13. 464. Thine eye shall not pity him, but thou shalt put away the guilt of innocent blood from Israel, that it may go well with thee. Deuteronomy 19:14. 465. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that thy God giveth thee to possess it. Deuteronomy 19:15. 466. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity, or for any sin, in any sin that he sinneth, at the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established. Deuteronomy 19:16-19. 467. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then shall ye do unto him, as he had thought to have done unto his brother, so shalt thou put the evil away from among you. Deuteronomy 20:10. 468. When thou comest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. Deuteronomy 20:12. 469. And if it will make no peace with thee, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it. Deuteronomy 20:19. 470. When thou shalt besiege a city a long time, in making war against it to take it, thou shalt not destroy the trees thereof by forcing an axe against them, for thou mayest eat of them, and thou shalt not cut them down, for the tree of the field is man's life, to employ him in the siege. Deuteronomy 21, 1-4. 471. If one be found slain in the land which thy God giveth thee to possess it, lying in the field, and it be not known who hath slain him, then thy elders and thy judges shall come forth, and they shall measure unto the cities which are round about him that is slain. Deuteronomy 21, 5. 472. And the priests the sons of Levi shall come near, for them thy God hath chosen to minister unto him, and to bless in the name of it, and by their word shall every controversy and every stroke be tried. Deuteronomy 21, 6-8. 473. And all the elders of that city shall wash their hands over the heifer, and they shall answer and say, Our hands have not shed this blood. Deuteronomy 21, 10-11. 474. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and thy God hath delivered them into thine hands, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her. Deuteronomy 21, 15-17. 475. If a man have 2 wives, one beloved, and another hated, he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, but he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn. Deuteronomy 21, 18-21. 476. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, and say, This our son is stubborn and rebellious. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones. Shall stone him with stones. Deuteronomy 21, 22-23. 477. If a man have committed a sin worthy of death, and he be to be put to death, and thou hang him on a tree, his body shall not remain all night upon a tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day. Deuteronomy 22, 1. 478. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them, thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. Deuteronomy 22, 2-3. 479. If thy brother be not nigh unto thee, then thou shalt bring him unto thine own house. And so shalt thou do with his ass, and with all lost thing of thy brothers. Deuteronomy 22, 4. 480. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them, thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again. Deuteronomy 22, 5. 481. The woman shall not wear that which retaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto thy God. Deuteronomy 22, 6-7. 482. If a bird's nest chance to be before thee, thou shalt not take the dam with the young, but thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee. Deuteronomy 22, 8. 483. When thou buildest a new house, then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thine house, if any man fall from thence. Deuteronomy 22, 9. 484. Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown, and the fruit of thy vineyard, be defiled. Deuteronomy 22, 10. 485. Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. Deuteronomy 22, 11. 486. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together. Deuteronomy 22, 12. 487. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four corners of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. Deuteronomy 22, 13-19. 488. If any man take a wife, and go in unto her, and hate her, and the damsel's father shall bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity, and they shall amerce him in 100 shekels of silver. Deuteronomy 22, 20-21. 489. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her. Deuteronomy 22, 22. 490. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman, and the woman. Deuteronomy 22, 23-24. 491. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city, and lie with her, then he shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and he shall stone them with stones that they die. Deuteronomy 22, 25-27. 492. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. Deuteronomy 22, 28-29. 493. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, he shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver. She shall be his wife. Deuteronomy 22:30. 494. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. Deuteronomy 23:1. 495. He that is wounded in the stones, or hath his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of it. Deuteronomy 23:2. 496. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of it, even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of it. Deuteronomy 23:3. 497. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of it, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of it forever. Deuteronomy 23:4-6. 498. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way, thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all thy days forever. Deuteronomy 23:7. 499. Thou shalt not abhor an Ammonite, for he is thy brother, thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land. Deuteronomy 23:9. 500. When the host goeth forth against thine enemies, then keep thee from every wicked thing. From every wicked thing.